Hi, everybody. Welcome to this special episode of the Messages of Hope podcast. The last one with that name. We are going to rename this podcast the Awaken Way podcast with Messenger of Hope, Suzanne Giesman, just because it more reflects the overall teaching that I love to share with all of you through these videos, more about how to live more aware that you are not only human, that you are part of one big web, like today's Daily Way message, the web, the web, the web. And you're going to see that in spades today with this story I have to share. It's a follow-up. I know many of you are watching live with me right now because I send an email out to all of you on my email list. If you want to be on that list and not miss special events like this, then by all means, go to my website and sign up to be notified. I sent out an email because, let me share a slide with you here. Last week on Christmas Eve day, I shared this video that you see the thumbnail for here on the screen. And I shared two very evidence-based stories that showed to me for sure, and hopefully it's convinced those of you who've watched it, that Archangel Michael really is real. And at the end of that, I gave a special PS about some a really cool Godwink that by chance I was giving a reading later that day, just last week, to a woman who I'd done a reading for a little over a year earlier, actually a year and several months. It was September of 2023. And in that reading, this amazing bluish ethereal light came down around her, and I knew it was Archangel Michael. That reading was rescheduled by my assistant for a year later because I knew we needed to do a follow-up. The woman had cancer that came up in the reading. I'm going to tell you all about that in a minute. But I also knew in that reading that she was going to be completely healed. That's why I said, let's meet again in a year. That meeting was held hours after I recorded that video about Archangel Michael. Whew, I got goosebumps already, probably picking it up from all of you. So I wanted to share the follow-up to that. But as part of the follow-up, I want to go back and share with you the pictures from that original reading. I'm just so grateful she's allowed me to share the pictures with her face blurred out because we're going to talk about some kind of personal things. But they're personal things that apply to all of us, part of our human nature. And in preparing for today's broadcast, I went back and listened to that whole reading and found another few Godwinks that I'll share with you in our time here together, along with channeled information from her loved ones and spirits, from her guides, and from Archangel Michael that I have her permission to share with you today, word for word. I have my notes that I'm going to need to follow because they apply to all of us. Once again, because it's part of the human condition. So I hope that you'll be very thrilled to see the pictures and hear the story, but also that you'll take something away from this. And as a special treat, as I was preparing my notes yesterday, my guide Sanaya, right, who are very present. I'm sorry, my microphone keeps falling off, so let's just clip it up here. Hopefully you can hear well. There we go. My guides advise me that they want to lead us through a healing meditation at the end of the discussion. So stay with me to the end. I know you will feel the special energy, and I'm not quite sure how that meditation will go because it's going to be guided live by them. Even if you're not watching us live now, I know that people will be watching this one years into the future. You will still feel the energy. It's creating its own energetic field with this recording. So let me look at my notes so I don't miss a thing. Alrighty. I sat with, let's call her Kathy. All right. I'm going to change her name for confidentiality's sake. So I started sitting with Kathy, and before the reading even started, we started talking about her intention for the reading. It's always good when I sit with somebody or when you sit with a medium to have a very clear intention of what you hope to achieve by sitting together and connecting with spirit. And she said that indeed she wanted to talk to certain loved ones across the veil, but she said, and I quote, I also have some other things going on in my life that I know my loved ones are aware of. And as she said that, that is the exact moment, having just watched this video again of the reading, the exact moment when the light showed up. Let me show it to you. I'll make this even bigger for you. Let's go full screen. Look at this screenshot from the video. There's me pointing at her because I remember saying, do you see that light that's coming down on you now? And she couldn't see it at first. And I asked her, is there a light over your head? And she said, well, there is one, but it's not right where that is. And I've never seen anything like that in any of my Zoom meetings. Look at the ethereal energy that it has. So when she said, I have some other things going on in my life right now, immediately I knew it was her health. Could have been anything, right? Relationships, jobs, whatever. But I knew, just because that's what a medium is supposed to do, is supposed to know things intuitively, that it was her health. So then we finished that part of the discussion. We're ready to start the meeting, and the light went away. Now, I asked her later, is the sun changing the lighting in the room? Is anything changing? She said nothing. I'll show you a picture later of how when that blue light is present, the room gets kind of gauzy. And I'll show you how it's contrasted later with a perfectly sharp room when the light isn't there. So to her physical eyes, nothing in the room was changing. That's really significant. But often, as those of you who may have used your Ring cameras may have seen, we capture orbs and unusual moving lights, often that the physical eyes can't see. And this is just another indication that there's so much more to this world than what our physical senses see. And that's what makes this actually fun, to have adventures in consciousness. So anyway, the light went away, and I tuned in now. I did my little invocation. I tuned in and I said, it feels to me that you have some lumps or tumors in you. And just then the light showed up again. So here it was the first time. Here it is later. Now it's looking like a double rainbow if you look closely, right? You can see a little bit off to the side there. And she said, in response to my comment, I'm sensing that you have tumors or a lump. She said, yes, I do. Now, any of you who have taken any of my courses in person or online about mediumship, you know what rule number one in my teaching is, right? Somebody's going to put it in the chat. Do no harm. And I know that very rarely is a medium or a psychic 100% accurate. So I didn't want to say anything to her that might cause her fear if I wasn't right. But I was so certain about what I was sensing that I always work with a little notepad here. It's always blank when I start, and I like to fill it with all the gold nuggets and the cool stuff that comes out. And I wrote, where she couldn't see, I wrote the word cancer. And so, wanting to do no harm, I put it this way. I said, so you are aware you have tumors or a lump. Do you have a diagnosis? I said it to her like that. And she said, yes, it's cancer. And at that point, I held up the notepad and I turned it around so she could see that this is in her field and I was tuning into it. And then we tuned into a loved one of hers in spirit, and the loved one said, all will be well. Trust that. And then this loved one in spirit showed me images. Having just watched the recording again, I had completely forgotten this part about water flowing and that she needed to flow with this. And then they showed me a calm surface, that being calm and allowing that peace to go through her would be very important on this journey that she was going through. And then the light came back even more. Let me bring up, you'll see, here we go. There's the last slide I show you. Now, as we're going along, the light was coming and going. It wasn't there the whole time, but here's the next view. So it's getting a little bit more diffuse, but it's widening as we see this. So This is what I channeled from her guides now in that recording, word for word. The timing of the light and the placement down through the crown and over to the right breast. The intensity and the color are all worthy of your trust that we are with you. And I knew then that's where the tumor was. And I said that to her, and she confirmed, yes, it's in my right breast. Look at this photo, everybody. Just going right through the crown to the right breast. And then I reported to her, the guides say, you just got a bolus of strength and courage. And I found their choice of words very interesting. I'm not a medical person, but that word has come up before in my readings. And any of you who are medical know what a bolus is. It's a big dose all at once. So you just got, got goosebumps. You just got a bolus of strength and courage based on the foundational awareness, I'm reading this verbatim, that you are not going through this alone. This is so important for all of us to know that any of our challenges, whether it's medical, relationship, whatever it is, grief from a loved one's passing, we don't go through it alone. That's why I wanted to do this broadcast, especially today, New Year's Eve, as I'm recording it live, New Year's Eve, yeah, so that we just start the new year with that awareness, with not just hope, but the knowing that we are surrounded by angelic help and our loved ones who have passed. To me, as a former Navy commander, that almost sounds silly. You know, we're always surrounded by angels. But I listen to that old leftover voice in my head and I say, I know better now. The angels want us to believe in them. And they said, trust that you are not going through this alone, and the outcome of this, when you are here and healthy, you will be able to spread the word about healing. I had completely forgotten that. And look, here we are doing this, spreading the word. And guess what? I did the follow-up reading. She is completely cancer-free. She had the tumor removed medically. It wasn't healed on the spot. But this is another thing that Spirit has told us over and over. We have each other as part of a holistic approach to healing. We ask for the angels' assistance. We pray for courage and strength and healing. We don't always have the bigger picture. We don't know how that healing is going to come. Sometimes people die anyway, and they're healed emotionally. Death is not a failure. It's a tragedy for us, but it's simply another chapter in our eternal lives. In this case, my client was healed. The doctors did that for her, but clearly the angels were there for another part of healing, which will come out as we go along here. All right. So, but anyway, wasn't that cool? You'll meet again and you will be spreading this word. And here we're doing it for thousands of people. Well, goosebumps again. So it gets even more beautiful and more timely here. In that reading, a year and 3 months ago, I said, now they're showing me that calm surface again with a raindrop on it. And now you're in the center of this calm space and the ripples are going out to help others find the peace that comes from knowing you're not alone and you really don't have to fear. As I heard that part about the imagery that Spirit gave me of a drop in this calm surface of water spreading ripples out, I was stunned. Why? Because my daily awakened way message 2 days earlier to preparing for this, are you ready? Wait for it, had this image 2 days earlier. I'm always guided as to what image to use when Spirit gives me a message. They have me open up a search. They give me the search word, and I wait as I scan all the pictures for them to give me that's the one feeling. And this was the message I chose, not knowing at my level that 2 days later I would be putting video slides together to share with all of you because they were so pertinent to this message. Yeah, wow. So Oh, before I share the channeling that then came from Archangel Michael, just a quick thing. If you don't have that app, go to your app store and enter Awakened Way. We have some great updates to the app, but daily messages of inspiration from Spirit. You can also find this on the gifts page. More gifts for you of my website. If you enjoy these videos, we've had a lot of new people subscribing to the YouTube channel in the last month, and I'm so grateful because that means we really are spreading the ripples. All right. There's a reason I showed that little angel there, and we're going to get to that right now. So in that reading, the guides told me to remind her to go back to something she said at the very beginning when we were chatting before we tuned into her loved ones. She had said at the beginning that she felt like she didn't matter, that she wasn't worthy of Spirit's love. The guides wanted to remind her of that. Then, this was really important, they referenced the breast as a symbol of the nurturing bond between a mother and her child. And in breastfeeding, how nurturing that is. And how now the cancer in her breast was serving as a reminder of the need to nurture ourselves. And that's why I had that slide for all of us, just to remember that sometimes where we find illness in our body is an indicator of where we're hurting the most. Then the guide said, and I quote, "We're going to allow the doctors to remove," oh, wow, to remove the physical results. So we knew it right then and there that she wasn't instantly healed. But I knew she would be healed. And here they had actually said it, and I forgot it. We are going to allow the doctors to remove the physical result of not understanding how beloved you are. Goosebumps again. But with our help, the angels, you will replace what was removed with self-love. So a big note here. Not all cancer, not all illness comes from something we're doing wrong or something we're not aware of. In this case, it's very clear. My client, we're calling her Kathy, I believe, it was clear, and she admitted it's true. She could not love herself. She wasn't nurturing enough to herself. She didn't feel worthy of love, and it showed up as cancer in her breast. I just had a discussion with a dear friend of mine. I'll keep her anonymous because I didn't ask permission to share this, but it's so relevant. She had 2 children who passed. And during the stress of that, she got cancer in the womb. Do you see the relationship? She was healed of that as she slowly healed from her grief. But she also shared with me, my neighbor, that there's a gene for cancer that runs in her family. Other members of the family have succumbed to various cancers that are related to that gene. She does not have that gene. So it's very clear that in her case, the cancer was a result of the stress, the imbalance in her body. So the point here is, this is not about placing blame, but noticing when the body is out of balance. And the guides will address that for us momentarily here. But the light had gone away, and then the light came back again. Let me show that to you here, coming up. Look at it now. Look how gauzy the background is on her screen, and look how wide now, as we're talking about self-love, that light is coming up. Now is when I feel Archangel Michael step in. If you watch that video that I showed you the thumbnail for at the beginning about real evidence from Archangel Michael, you'll understand why I know it was Michael, how I feel his specific, very powerful, very loving energy. And I knew this was him. And this is a quote from him now. You all must be getting a lot of goosebumps because I normally don't get them so often, but I'm just covered with them repeatedly today. He said, "You are right to trust." He is present and is going to be helping with the meditation we're doing. Ooh, it's going to be powerful. You are right. You are right to trust, for you are being supported by a higher level than angels. As they've told us, they don't like to talk about hierarchies, but there's the astral realm where we go when we pass. Our spirit guides are a higher level. Angels are a higher frequency. Yeah, they say that's better than thinking levels. Just think interpenetrating frequencies, signals, like TV channels with one with a higher frequency. They're all right here together, but above the angels are the archangels, able to affect and help and support more of us from that level. He said, "We help all when there is fear and illness combined," a very common combination. It is a combination that requires a blanket of security from the higher realms. And that's a beautiful way for him to describe how the archangels help us. So I shared what I was sensing with her then, not in his words, but that her greatest task was to acknowledge her fear about the illness and her doubts, recognizing that fear is a pattern, it's a conditioned habit we get into. Oh, I'm sick. And just in saying that, we own that instead of saying, I am the light, and I am being healed with help from the higher realms. And then release the fear. And then Archangel Michael said, "This is the path to freedom." I had forgotten that came up in the last reading, but having just shared my Archangel Michael evidence in that video last week, I remembered that in his first visit to me, as those of you who saw that video know, I said to him, "Why have you come to me?" And he said, "I come to all those who fight for freedom and stand for love." So doesn't that make sense that he would come to help free Kathy and all of us from our fears by coming to acknowledge, I am the light of consciousness. I am a direct expression of God, of source, of spirit. All of us are, and we forget that. And as we forget that, that energy becomes part of our day-to-day energy instead of letting our magnificent light shine through. Our cells are their own individual energy fields, but part of our whole. When our outer field, our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions are not coherent, they're incoherent, and because we're feeling fear and doubt, we're working against ourselves. We're not allowing them to be coherent and work with us. What is cancer? It's when the cells of our own body attack each other. So as we surrender our fears and trust that the angels are helping us to stay in alignment with the highest energy, we're actually letting the cells do what they do naturally and stay in balance. That's why it's so important to recognize the fear, acknowledge it's part of our human programming. The left brain does that naturally, but say, thank you very much. That's not serving our purposes here. Change our wording from I am sick or I have cancer to there is a visitor in my body. There is imbalance currently here. However, through bringing in more light, trusting the angels, trusting that I am an expression of that light, I am releasing my fear. Now we're harnessing the power of I am, and I am allowing my body to heal itself with the support of higher consciousness. That's freedom. So, and then these words came, channeled now. We wish you to watch this light. Let me bring it up again as I read these words. We wish you to watch this light that is descending upon you until it is indelibly imprinted in your heart and mind that we are here and you are indeed a beloved child of God. God is that light you are looking at on the screen. And I just heard some of you right now say, but you said it was Archangel Michael. Yes, Archangel Michael is an expression of the light of God, not a person, but pure being, total connection. That's love. Archangel Michael is that light, and you are that light. So looking at you now, I'm looking at God, a limited expression of that light. How brightly are you shining that light? There's an intention for the new year, for every day, no matter what year it is, to shine the light of God through you as brightly as possible. And yes, I use God, I use spirit, I use consciousness, I use this light, whatever works to get us to harness that light, not think it's separate from us, but to allow it to flow fully through us and do what it does best, shine and heal. So let's bring that light back up here. I'm going to continue the channeling from Archangel Michael. God is not a person who has ever judged you. Only other humans judge themselves and others. We see you all as these lights. Now, Michael's speaking now in we because he's with the other guides. He's with the other archangels. All of them see all of us as these lights. You do not see the light that you are. And that's literal because we don't normally see that blue light coming down, but we are equally light beings, but we also don't see it in ourselves figuratively. He says, could you see with the eyes of the soul, you would appreciate more how beautifully you shine. And that's what I teach in my courses, how to see with the eyes of the soul. That's what has changed my life. That's why I feel so much joy, so much connection, so much love for all of you, from all of you. That's the soul. It's a different kind of seeing. It's seeing beyond the physical senses and seeing with the eyes, the heart of the soul. It changes everything. Do you know that you're being imbued with this energy now? These videos carry a transmission of this energy. You feel it, right? It's a stirring within you. Some of you are feeling tears. Some of you are actually crying, they tell me right now. That's the soul saying, yes, yes, trust this, believe this, listen. This is the truth. We've been waiting for you to hear a gift. Oh, then let's bring the light back on here because this is pretty cool. So we've been talking about this healing. We've been getting this channeling. And I'm telling you, this energy that you're feeling now is visible here. I'm going to bring this full screen. Look what happens when Michael steps back and we shift to talking about her job and relationships. Look at the background, how sharp it is now. I ask her again, has the sunlight changed? Has any lighting in your room changed? Nothing at all. What changed is the energy field we're in. There it is before. Here it is when the light steps back. Is that cool or what? So we change to her work and relationships. The light goes away, no noticeable difference. Then she was shown how to get in the flow of trusting spirit, listening for spirit, and especially the guides told her the perfect new job is coming for you. Ooh, goosebumps again. And she admitted that she was very stressed in her work. Well, let me see. Oh, right. The guides said they advised her to envision the perfect job coming instead of fearing that she would be stuck in a dissatisfying job forever, trusting that life is flowing through us, allowing us, all of us, to co-create the perfect opportunities for work, relationships, family, while flowing instead of resisting. Then you attract what you're radiating. So we had the reading last week. And of course, the first question is, how's your health? And as I told you earlier, completely cancer-free. She had a glow about her, just happy and trusting. And she said that she took time off from work during her healing right after the surgery. And and that she found it so beautiful. She said it was actually this wonderful period of going through the post-cancer treatment instead of what it would have been had she not gotten that advice from the guides and from Archangel Michael. She did go with the flow. She appreciated that her illness actually afforded her this time of no stress. And guess what? Then she got an offer for a new job and she took it. She's part of a team. She loves her job. It's exactly what they saw coming for her. So let's see. Just a little bit more teaching from the guides then followed. It's what they had to say about the tumor, but once again, it applies to all of us. This is so important. The guides said about the tumor in your body, it is a visitor. It is an imbalance, disharmony. This was a year ago. Rather than focusing on the challenge, concentrate on the balance, the peace, and breathing. I find that when I'm stressed, I stop breathing or I hold my breath a lot. The more you learn to exhale and feel how peaceful that exhale is, you'll become more conscious of your breathing and you'll become more conscious of being more peaceful. It's a beautiful self-fulfilling do loop. You will then become the body's greatest supporter, the guide said. When you live in fear and feel you must fight, which is the human way, you give the cancer power. Instead, you will be a light unto others with the peace you will bring to those around you while in treatment. And indeed, she did. Brought peace. Let's see. Now, if you recall in last week's reading, I shared that I had only been nudged 2 days before doing that recording about actual evidence from Archangel Michael to do the video. I prepared for one day and recorded it live the next day. Come to look at my calendar that morning and found out my client was the one who had Archangel Michael visit her. That was a total Godwink. I didn't schedule her. My wonderful scheduling assistant, Patty, did, not knowing that it was an Archangel Michael visit or that I was recording Archangel Michael. Well, here's the other Godwink that I promised you for today's recording. Listening to that recording of her first reading, I was struck by a comment I made a year and 3 months ago that I had a note on my calendar that day, September 2023, to record my video that day called Angels Are Real. So if you haven't seen Angels Are Real, go watch it. But look at that. 2 separate readings for the same woman, 2 recordings for my podcast about angels on the same day. Spirit really knows what they're doing. We did a live Q&A Sunday, the 29th. My gosh, it's just getting a lot of views. I'm glad you all appreciated Spirit's answers for those. But one of the questions was, does Spirit have a sense of humor? They absolutely do. And they just take such joy in the way we appreciate and notice the Godwinks. So in this case, I feel they have a beautiful sense of humor and the synchronicities are all part of that. So I recorded Angels Are Real the day of her first reading, and I can assure you, I hope you can tell by these slides here, angels definitely are real. As I was finding slides, let me pull up hers again because it's so cool. I was reminded from my guides of my beautiful light encounter with Archangel Michael. I was hiking with my husband Ty on a trail. He took a picture of me. I had been talking to the angels on the trail. Check out this picture. If you look closely, you can see that beautiful same etheric blue color as an orb right over my crown chakra and 6th eye right there over my head. I know I'm not the only one. I know that others tuning in right now have had that same experience. But yes, indeed, angels are real. I'm actually grateful for our technology that allows us to see them as the light beings they are. My guides want me to share with you that I don't see my guides as people or angels in form. I literally saw my main spirit guides with my eyes one day when I opened my eyes and saw this beautiful blue flame-like light dancing in front of my eyes. And I thought, is this an illusion? Ooh, goosebumps again. I knew it was my guides. I turned my head to the right. The light stayed here in my peripheral vision and then danced over this way into my vision again. So I hope that you will share your angel stories with those who have ears to hear, as they truly help us to open our belief system more. And the more our belief system is open, the more likely we are to have personal experiences. So Spirit must have a really good sense of humor, because I want to lead this guided meditation. But guess what's going on? You may be able to hear it. We have a leaf blower right outside the window right now. Doesn't this guy know it's New Year's Eve? It's a holiday. We're supposed to be taking a break. So the guides, they just said to me, this is why we train. And this is why I have trained, to be able to hold the focus of spirit no matter what is going on. Like the time I did a reading at a military campground and I had fighter jets taking off overhead just as I was trying to tune into spirit. You learn to keep that focus because the spirit's always here. It's up to us to maintain the awareness. So I am told that we can do this anyway, despite the leaf blower. How do you like to do a little meditation now to implement the teaching that Spirit had, just recapping what they said, understanding how beloved we all are. Remember how angels said they would fill in that space removed by the tumor with self-love? They also, one other thing before we do the meditation, and the guy's going farther away, so that's good. They also said that they would surround her with a blanket of security, blanket of love. And I have this blanket that I keep here in my meditation room. I don't know if you can tell. It is so snuggly, so soft. I hope all of you have something like this, because there are times when to wrap yourself in something like this is inspired by Spirit. They want you to feel their comforting arms wrapped around you. And we can help ourselves with that self-love by nurturing ourselves with self-soothing measures like this. I know when I was growing up, they didn't have fleece. They didn't have some of these delicious textiles that we have now. So run, don't walk, and get yourself something like this so you can nurture yourself physically, tangibly, just like the angels are nurturing you all the time. So let's just do a guided meditation now that the guides assure me is going to be imbued with their energy, and they want you to absolutely feel that. So just get comfortable for a minute. Just set down anything you might have had in your hands or any multitasking you're doing while you're watching this. And know that you can come back and watch this again at any time. It will still carry the same transmission of higher energy from the angelic realms and the healing energy. Okay, so close your eyes, please, and imagine yourself like a tree with roots that go deep into the earth and branches that go high to the sky. And pull in the earthly energies from below. These are the feminine vibrations of Mother Earth. Pull that all the way up into your heart. And now, with your branches, sense yourself pulling down the cosmic energies associated with the masculine vibration. These two energies are what bring balance to you. Balance is the key that we're going for here today. And your visualization of the feminine energy coming up from below, the masculine energy coming down from above, automatically puts you in the driver's seat of balancing the life force that's flowing through you. Join me in taking a very slow in-breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now exhale just as slowly. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. feeling so much more relaxed now. Do that one more time on your own. Now, holding the intention to relax as fully as possible as you exhale. Just find your awareness moving from behind the eyes and sinking with the breath down past the mouth, past the throat, down into the chest area. This is the site of your emotional heart as the guides step in now and take over the words. This is the location of the core of you, the universal heart, you would call it. This is the part of you that never changes. It is the part of you that you brought here with you when you incarnated as a physical being. This is the part of you that you will take with you when you go. All of your thoughts arise here first and become what you call my mind. But there is only one mind. And when you can surrender your thought that you must do it all and cure it all and have it all, then you can come to rest in this center of being and simply be. The more time you spend in this state of pure peace, resting as I am, with no words to fill in the blank, with no story of suffering, of pain, of illness, the more you will harness your true power, the same power that flows through all, regardless of thoughts or beliefs. Sit now and rest in this universal core of being, the I am. There, before the mind rushes to fill in the blank with your story, did you feel that peace? This, dear one, is total balance. This is total health. Hear us well. This health is present in you now, no matter how unhealthy it may seem at the surface level. At the core of you, you are already health. Breathe it in, and using your will, breathe it through to every cell in the body. As you give and spread this health to every cell that is keeping you in balance, send them now a wave of gratitude from your emotional heart. The gratitude for keeping you in this life experience, no matter how tumultuous. You are here for the fullness of the experience, whether you are now experiencing at the surface level health or imbalance. You are health itself, as are the very cells of your physical body. This gratitude you have just given to them helps them to do their job. Sit now once again in awareness of being at the center of the universal core of your being, where there is no separation. You may call this love. Sitting as the I am presence, you are and always have been totally connected to all that is. This, dear one, means you are love. Do you believe God is love? You know it is so, for there is nothing beyond or greater than God. Yes, there is something beyond you in a physical body, greater than your current experience. You know this, for you, the soul, know you come from God, spirit, source. But that source is not something that you have ever detached from. It is what is breathing you now. It is the source of your very cells' innate intelligence. Breathe it in, this love. Your cells know only love, connection with the source. Allow the cells to do their job and love you. Now, allow our energy to flow through you and give you permission to love yourself as much as you are loved by the beloved Spirit, God, consciousness. You are so very loved. You are getting a bolus of it now, this love that has always been here, but has been blocked by the various layers of your being. You are sitting now, resting now at the I am level, at the very core of you. You are being given a gift of the taste of love that is you. Drink it up, will you? This will carry you forward when you come out of this state of pure being. You will remember this at a level you have not been experiencing for a while. This is our gift for you as you begin a new cycle in physical terms of time. But beyond time and space, you have always been and always will be love in full expression. This is life, and you are this love. We thank you for joining us today, for being willing to carry this extra vibration. We dare say you will notice a difference in the way you flow in the coming days. And if you begin to lose a sense of this wondrous state of knowing you are loved, why simply drop back down into this I am core of you, which is not going anywhere, no matter where you roam, no matter what happens to the physical body. Again, we remind you, you are so very loved. Knowing that you'll maintain this beautiful gift of energy, wiggle your fingers and toes and acknowledge the physical body once again. Bring your awareness back to your energetic heart that opens and closes, but is so open right now. Bring your awareness back to your physical heart. You may even feel it beating in your chest, being beaten by Source. And bring your awareness back to behind the eyes that you now open. Send a wave of gratitude for healing that has indeed taken place. The guides assure me. For you, you'll know what's that physical. Wow, some of you actually received a true physical healing in that meditation, they tell me. Please reach out to me through my website and share it so I can share it publicly. Little miracle there at the end of the year. Wow. We will definitely share all the miracles with this community. But again, gratitude will instantly bring you back to a state of balance and coherence. I'm so grateful to Spirit for this opportunity to share the miracles with you all. Grateful to all of you for being part of the Awaken Way community. Looking forward to more gatherings in the coming year. Perhaps I'll see you January 14th for my monthly connection, or others throughout the year when we gather to share this energy, channeling like that, meditations on the spot, guided like that, and the latest wows from Spirit. May they wow us every day of our lives. I love you all. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you at the next podcast.